All right, let's see. So if we get questions, just to tell you, we got 15 minutes flat, right? So there's really no time to pause, meaning you can't say, maybe I'll post the question at the end, I'll be the last one. Like the opportunity, I think one of you guys made the point, there must be haste in what we do. If you don't, you're not going to get the chance. So if you have an opportunity and you want to do so, do it right away. But let's talk about this. I mean, this thought of innovative leadership and how we use it to respond to some of the problems we have. You know, you raised the issue about the Palestinian issue, of course, something that, well, it's close to all of us, but particularly to you, right? But you made the point of the silence from those who have currency, who have the power to do nothing about it. I mean, we could probably have a 1 hour conversation on that alone. I don't really want that. But accepting this, to pick up on your form of ownership, right? Why do you think, I mean, do you think that there's silence because of vested interests where people are they are perpetually compromised? And they can't say what they really want to say, and they can't do what they really want to do. Now, I think that, as I asked the question, I'm saying I think that's a fact, right? I'm saying, how do we turn that around? Because that is a reality everywhere. You're not going to get someone on this platform, for example, coming up here and if there's the main sponsor, you're talking about the exact rival of another sponsor. It just doesn't happen. So, your thoughts?
I think continuing to what my brother here says is that the ownership is the issue. Because if you don't own your own food, you don't own your own medicine, you don't own your own technology, you don't own your own energy, then all the time your decision is not in your hand. You always have to follow whoever you provide you. So, for example, as the mention on the Facebook Meta, right? I mean, you have even to be very careful when you're writing a post. You have to split the word like into 100 pieces just to make sure that your post just go out, because we don't have our own platform, we don't have our own social media. So I think the whole issue, even for our leadership, even if you have a good leadership, but he doesn't have the tools, he's not going to make decisions, because there is also coincidence on this. So for example, he cannot just say, you know what, I'm not going to use any of these technologies and I will just boycott everything. Then where we end? You cannot, you basically close the international, access. You don't have that anymore. You don't have the energy. And this is actually we face in Gaza, but in a small manner. Like the second the war started, the energy was cut off. Internet was cut off, the water was cut off, even the medication that comes to Gaza was cut off. But the question is, if we have our own resources, most of these issues will be solved.
Okay, so you're saying ownership is important.
Absolutely.
In fact, both of you are saying the same thing now. Yeah. But I want to bring you in here. When we talk about own, right, is it a literal own, as if this mobile phone is mine because I paid for it, it belongs to me, or is it ownership of decision making?
I think I'm going to take it a bit differently, because if we say that we own technology, or if we look at what China's done, when the West cut them off, they said no problem, we'll sort ourselves out. We missing collaboration, we missing unity. Why can't
did they say no problem in English, or did they say no problem in
probably in their language, in whatever it was, how we'll make our own.
I was just trying to work it out.
But the economy said everything worked, technology worked. They didn't have Oracle, they made their own version. So it comes back to what you're saying. If they do that to us, we're done. Why can't we do it? Because we don't have unity. And that's my take on it, is this. We want to make, everyone's out to make the most money they can for themselves. And it's become a materialistic society.
But do you think it's simply as a case of unity? And I understand it's been played up. I've made a point on a previous platform, and I say this as well. I mean, I've got an Apple phone in my hands, right? And I have no affiliation to the country that it comes from. In fact, I don't like a lot of their policies. Yet I use it because it works for me. I mean, it solves my problem for now versus many others, right? Why am I saying that? I'm saying one of my premises is that I'm not talking about us in this room. I'm talking about the world, right? Muslim, non-Muslim, it doesn't matter who they are. People will hold on to something that solves their problem. And when it solves their problem big time, they're not even worried about the ideological issues of whoever owns it. That is why I would hold an Apple phone and we can discuss whether they're ethical, and I can go to every single other item in the world and do that. I mean, is that not the case?
Maybe it's fear. Fear of trying something new. Fear of being without whatever it is that makes you comfortable. Fear holds you back. Because I wouldn't move for my iPhone as well, because I'm scared that the Samsung might not work as well. Maybe it
Okay,
does.
but I mean, in both cases, iPhone, Samsung, you use them because they solve their problem. And
They solve the problem.
there's no Muslim phone because it doesn't solve your problem because you don't have one.
We'll wait for Bilal.
So at that point in time, you'll take anything you can get. I mean, that's my point. When we say overcome differences, right, is it a case of not so much overcoming, and I'm agreeing with you that, and maybe you can answer this one, is like you talked about a North Star, about collectively understanding one singular purpose and saying, whatever we think and feel about each other, even if we dislike each other, the one purpose is greater than every other weakness and differences we have. Now, I'm saying, I think that's obvious, but we don't have that, do we?
No, I mean, I think that the core problem as an ummah, right, that we are disconnected from our history. We don't know from where we come and what kind of history we have. I mean, when we talk about technology, I mean, if we look at our history, we are the Muslim who invented the technology. We are who bring the science, the math, and all of that. But it seemed like, you know, we live in a world where we have that continue it. So we don't know exactly where we are coming from, what principle we used to have. You know, as a leadership, if we know our history, we know what we have done before, I think this is something all Ummah will agree that we have amazing history. And if we can use that to just look at the history and build on it, I think we have a path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Time is running out, which is a good thing, because what it tells you is like time is running out in the world as well. So this is the reality of the challenges we face. So quick answers. I'll leave it to anyone who wants to answer this one, right? What is the best way to learn leadership on? Is it online? Can you learn leadership online effectively? Who wants to answer that?
No.
You think no?
No.
You can't learn leadership online.
No, leadership comes as you need to want to learn leadership initially, and look at the Quran and Sunnah. See what the Prophet did. That's what I learned. Go back to the Quran and Sunnah to learn what pure ethical leadership is.
Okay. That's anybody wants to add to that? No? Okay, we're going to move on. Right. How could we encourage the next generation of technologists and leaders? Is mentorship the answer? So in the light of all the things we're talking about now, I'll leave it with you guys. Give me a quick 30-second answer, all three of you, right? What's the one thing that you think we need to be giving our most attention to on this issue of innovation and leadership? Go for it.
I'll give you
30 seconds, just 30
word.
seconds, yeah.
Reinvention.
Reinvention. Okay, got that. Yourself?
Maybe education.
Maybe education. Well, I think, yes, I mean, there's no right and wrong answer, but it gets us thinking. And I will just say something that I know for myself. The single most important driver in all that you do, right, is find purpose. That's why I've asked the speakers to say, what's your purpose? If you know your purpose, if you know your why, you'll know what you're going to do next. If you don't know your purpose, you're doing it without even knowing. Like somebody gives you an oar to row, you're just rowing, but you don't even know where you're going to. So find the purpose, it'll get you your GPS. Your time's up. Thank you so much, right? Much appreciated. We've got coffee now, right? Allahu Allah, 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 Allahu Allah.
يا خالق الأكوان يا منزل القرآن يا خالق الأكوان يا منزل القرآن زدني من الإيمان الله يا الله يا خالق الأكوان يا منزل القرآن يا خالق الأكوان يا منزل القرآن زدني من الإيمان الله يا الله 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 الله